is it MBA versus an MHA? To me, I would pick MBA over MHA unless you're planning to stay in the health system only. But is it MBA versus an MHA? And to me, I would pick MBA over MHA unless you're planning to stay in the health system only from a growth perspective. But I do believe having the balance between clinical and business, has just been a great asset, especially in private practice. One, it definitely helps in my conversations with the physicians because I understand some of the pain points they're dealing with, whether it's through documentation or charge capture and things of that nature versus understanding the balance sheet and what we need to do in order to be able to stay relevant as we continue to grow.
Exactly. You're not just a numbers guy. I know my parents are teachers and they used to get so frustrated when someone from the state would come and use a scorecard in the back of the classroom and they'd ask, okay, well, how long were you a teacher for? And they're like, I've never been a teacher. So how the heck are you doing your little scorecard on me? What are you going off of? You've never sat in this role to know the challenges of what teaching 8th grade looks like for you to come in and judge it. So I'm sure you also earn a lot more just immediate respect because you've been in that seat before, that you're not just making decisions to make decisions. And when you have to be, making challenging decisions, you have that input and you understand what they're going through.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's awesome. Thanks for tuning in to the Healthy Careers Podcast. In 2024, we reached over 32,000 listeners and ranked in the top 15% of all podcasts. We're proud to have SharePro Health as a sponsor and are currently looking for 2 more partners in 2025. If you're looking to connect with healthcare leaders, providers, and innovators, we'd love to spread the word about your service, product, or business. Reach out to me, Maddie, for more details. And so you said MBA over MHA all day long if you're going to be in private practice, which I think is key if you're listening to this and wanting to get into leadership, like decide which route you want to go. And something that I ask every single guest because it's so telling to me. I've had many, many different people on here and everybody comes from different backgrounds. Everybody offers something, different to the table in terms of their journey. And if they could go back to the start of their career, what piece of advice would you give yourself knowing what you know now?
You need to know who you are and really where you get your truth from, right? Because that's going to help set your competencies and what you do. And part of that is make sure that you're taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. And for me, what I found just from a routine is, I get up at 4:30 and, I spend time, I'm strong in my faith in the word or prayer. Others might be meditation. And then I'm exercising for an hour and a half. And then I try to, at least read 1 or 2 books a month just to keep me grounded. And what I found by being consistent with that in the morning, it helps me in my decision making. It gives me a clear head. And it also is where I'm also coming up with all my innovative, crazy ideas at times as well.
Yep.
And so, I think that's probably, the biggest. I think the other is you can't create something bigger than yourself by yourself. And so, with that, you're going to have to be able to build a leadership team that you trust. And you got to give them the tools and resources. And it's okay to make mistakes because, to be a leader is getting work done through other people. And especially being in an independent practice, it's hard enough to try to, keep your lane going. But if you have 6, 8, 10 locations, you're going to have to be able to trust people to be able to do what they do. And I think that's where, even coming from an athletic background, I think those are some of the skill sets that you even see in private practice. And you're actually seeing a lot of athletes in here, right? Because it takes that discipline, that trust, that autonomy, the respect, for each other, accountability. And so I think those would probably be the 2 things that
I love that.
I've learned and would recommend people to think about.
Definitely. I found that the hardest thing as leader is putting that trust in others, especially when you've done the job before, because you so badly want to just be like, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it how I would do it. But part of, I think, being a leader is being able to say, even if it's not done exactly how I would have done it, as long as it's getting done and it's getting done in a, professional, sound way, then you have to trust and let people do that and delegate accordingly. Because otherwise you don't have enough hours in the day. And I think that's something that a lot of leaders have shared on here is that you've got to be able to put your trust in those that you hire and appoint to those roles.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. I also love that you keep your sanity too by working out in the morning. I told my husband the other day, I said, once I'm cleared to exercise, I said, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m., feed her and get on the Peloton and put her back in bed. As I said, because I'm just a better person when I work out in the morning.
Yeah, no, and you accomplish something already, right?
Yeah.
And make your bed or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
first thing you do, right, is you've already accomplished something, so everything is going to continue to get better from there.
for sure. I actually saw someone say that they asked that in an interview process if somebody makes their bed or not, and they will not hire somebody if they don't. Which I don't make my bed, but I'm also in the newborn trenches.
You get a pass right now on that. Yeah, I think it's being military family.
You always do?
I get quivers if I don't make my bed, even if I'm running late. I got to at least
Oh gosh.
put that blanket over.
I will. Yeah. Well, I can appreciate that. My sister-in-law is like that. She was here the other weekend and she was like, I'm going to go make the bed. And I was like, oh no, don't worry about it. I'll get it once you guys leave. She was like, no, I need to make the bed. It's just for me. I need to do it. I said, okay, if that's what makes you happy.